Hi everyone, welcome to this Instagram Live. My name's Anna Chin, and I'm a senior at Connecticut College, soon to be alum, and I am a double major in computer science and art, and I am a senior in the Ammerman Center for Arts and Technology, and I'm so excited to be talking with all of you today about my project, and soon I will be joined by one of my best friends at Con, who is also a senior in the Ammerman Center, and we're going to be talking about our project and about how our projects have changed since being in quarantine. So I'm so excited. And for those of you who don't know, the Ammerman Center is the Center for Arts and Technology. Natasha and I are in two very different disciplines, but still we are able to kind of have projects that overlap each other. So I'm going to add Natasha right now.
Hello! Nice
How
to
are
see you virtually.
So good to see you. Where are you right now?
I'm actually in New York City, so very surreal, definitely being here. And how's Delaware?
Delaware's good. Yeah, we're just taking it one day at a time.
Right, exactly. That's really all you can do.
Yeah.
What was that? So I'll introduce myself too before we talk about kind of what our projects entailed. So I'm a art history major, English minor, and I'm also in the Museum Studies Certificate program, along with being in the scholar in the Ammerman Center with you as well. So we thought it would be kind of funny to start how we found out about the center and like what happened with that. So I learned about the center with the former assistant director coming to my class that kind of was related to the topic, and then I thought it would be interesting, and then we met each other our like first week of freshman year. So then you also had the similar experience, and then we were both like, let's go to the information session together. And we both were like, this is such a amazing center, and since we have very different disciplines, but we felt it kind of worked well with both of them, we were like, we should both apply. And it's kind of ironic, and like the full circle story was that we were together, right, in like the library. We were studying for our French test.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I got the email that I was too scared to tell you because I didn't know if you had gotten in, and then you also told me that you got in, so that was really exciting. So it's kind of it's funny that we're now kind of talking about our senior integrated project 3 years later together.
Full circle.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So tell me more, or kind of tell them what your project entailed.
So my project is called Disruption: Learning to Block Facial Recognition Technology. And I've been studying facial recognition in both my major for computer science and also this, but in two different disciplines. So in CS, I've been doing mainly kind of like a programmatic study of how facial recognition algorithms work. And I've been able to incorporate my art major and kind of my artistic passion into this project. And so the main goal of the project is to kind of bring awareness and create a disruption in what we know about facial recognition and how it's become such a ubiquitous part of our everyday lives. And what I've done is I've created 4 different filters. So like, you know, when you go on Instagram or when you go on Snap, you can create those filters on your face that turn you into a cat or whatever. I've been able to put these different filters onto images to kind of to block any type of facial recognition that tries to look for your face and collect your data when you do post on social media. So yeah, that's a brief overview of what my project is. Natasha, what about you?
Yeah, so I took a very different approach. I was able to combine my art history degree along with English and even museum studies. And I was looking at my title was They Built New York, Gender Representation in New York City Public Art. So through that, I focused on the 5 historical female public art statues in context with there not being an equal representation with the 150 male statues that are in New York City. So then I was kind of used it as an educational tool, an immersive experience that allowed a viewer to see these statues and also learn about the women that were represented as well.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. What's been your favorite part of the project?
I think being able to kind of learn about the city that I've lived in my whole life in like a really new and interesting way, where I didn't really necessarily even know myself that there were these 5 historical female statues, and being able to kind of come to this project, but then also be able to visit them themselves and like see my interaction with them and how I feel in the space has been really transformative. What about you?
Yeah, I think my favorite part has been incorporating my artistic side into technology,
Right.
because oftentimes being a double major in two very different disciplines can get a little tiring and confusing. I'm not really sure how the two can collide, but this project really helped me with that.
Right. And I definitely think that's something in general with the Ammerman Center as a whole, being the arts and technology, it does kind of cater to being able to kind of combine that arts and comp sci, and then also from like a totally different perspective, me being able to combine like art history and English, and then incorporate that technology component, which you wouldn't necessarily like associate with it with a museum.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
And I think one of the like most fun parts about it is that we were friends before we even got into the center, and we're such two different things that we never expect to be taking all these classes together.
Exactly. Yeah, I know. It was a pleasant surprise. But I think that also kind of works really well with what we feel. We've talked about this too, like the sense of community being in the Ammerman Center. Since it is on the smaller side, we've had 9 people in our class, and we think we especially got really close with all of them. And we're all totally different backgrounds, and having that kind of common ground was something that I think we'll really treasure, like, throughout. And also just like being able to kind of collaborate with each other and have those different voices really helped.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah. But I think that also ties into us having to all like kind of change our projects and kind of morph into where we are, obviously not being allowed, being able to finish the rest of the semester on campus. Do you want to talk about kind of how your project changed?
Yeah, I know all of our projects changed a lot because so much of what we were working on had to do with the technology available on campus. So originally, I wanted to have my project be an exhibition in the Ammerman House, which is a house on campus where we have all of our classes and where all of our equipment is. And I wanted to be able to have kind of a fully immersive experience for the audience to see the filters themselves that I've created on a bunch of different example photos that I collected of all my friends. Natasha is one of the people who I got a picture of. However, since we're not on campus anymore, I couldn't do that anymore. So I kind of worked with what we got. I used WordPress, which is the website or a domain through WordPress, which is a website that we get automatically through the college, and created a website kind of displaying all of my work and displaying how exactly each filter works technologically, and also how you can use it in your everyday life. And I think one thing that I got out of this that I couldn't have gotten out of the exhibition itself was that I was able to use this website to create a space that got more to my point politically. So I could kind of emphasize the research that I've done and the fact that this is about learning about the privacy laws that go behind collecting data from facial recognition.
Right, exactly. And like being able to look at your site, kind of having that privacy being displayed in the beginning, I think really also caters to that as well, which was really cool to see.
Thank you. And what about your project? Because I know your project had to change a lot too.
Right. So I initially was kind of grappling with how I wanted to kind of bring the statues like to Connecticut College and have that experience. And like, obviously I can't take a statue and like place it right with me. So I kind of using that images, videos, something like that I wanted to grapple with. So then I ended up deciding on using like a 360 camera. So like over spring break, I was going to go and record all the statues. But that was right when like the whole kind of shelter in place started. So, but I was kind of able to use my images that I had taken over winter break when I initially had started viewing the statues. And I was able to use that instead. And kind of create like a video documentary with all the 5 female statues and have that with my narration on top of like my personal experience along with the historical significance. So I think that also worked well. And I think it was just almost like as effective as it would have been like with the 360 camera. So I think that was successful. And I also think all of our other fellow scholars really did a great job at adapting. And like we were able to kind of portray what we would have wanted without, obviously, given the circumstances.
Yeah, definitely. People got creative. I know one of my friends made an app instead for her project. Or I know a lot of other people who were incorporating more live features did something similar to yours, where it was like this almost documentary kind of aspect to show all of the work that we've done.
Right. I know, yeah. But it was nice because we also, throughout the center, we have like our weekly classes kind of with our and now through our senior seminar. So we'll be having that once a week opportunity to kind of talk about it with each other and work off of each other was definitely something that I think was beneficial.
Yeah, definitely. And also just being able to kind of see each other's faces every week.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, so I guess to wrap things up, we can just kind of talk about a couple people in the Ammerman Center.
Definitely. Yes.
Well, Steve is our senior seminar professor who we also met with every week. And he's been such a big help to us.
Yeah, and he's the assistant director of the Ammerman Center. And yeah, he really kind of advocated for us that we were reminding us that we were doing like great work, because I think we all kind of at some point would get kind of really in the project and kind of forget the bigger picture. But I think he definitely reminded us and gave us exactly what you said, like great advice. And then Professor Wolensack, who's the director of the Ammerman Center, she's also provided us great feedback as well and was our junior seminar professor. And then also, yeah, so since it was a collaboration for you, right, with your comp sci, your advisor kind of had that, those two disciplines together, right? Yeah,
definitely. My advisor for my CS research this year was also my advisor for my Ammerman project, and that's Professor Ismaili.
Right. Yeah, so I had, because we had kind of similar where I also had an advisor that was with my my major, so Professor Gonzalez-Rice in the art history department. A huge shout out to her too. And then also we were saying our fellow Ammerman scholars. Yes.
We've really gotten to know each other throughout the last 2.5 years that we've been in the center together. And just seeing everybody's projects kind of develop into their own unique things has been so special to everybody.
It really has, yeah. And I guess also just like all of our family and friends who've had to listen to our projects and kind of given us advice throughout that whole time. It's been great, yeah. And have the community through Con as a whole too. We've all kind of learned about each other's things that we're doing and helped each other too. So yeah.
Beneficial process.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, well, it was great joining you virtually to talk about it.
Thank you, and thank you to everybody who's watching.
Yes. Hello. I can see the comments a little bit. Okay. Yeah. Hope everyone's staying safe.
Yes.
Goodbye.
Bye, everyone.